The moment you hear the word recession, your mind jumps straight to fear. But here is the truth. Millionaires never panic. They prepare, and what I am about to tell you is the most important strategy they use right before everything collapses. And once you understand it, you will never look at money the same way again. You won't believe this, but millionaires actually get excited when a recession is coming because they know the world is about to press a reset button. And the people who move first become 10 times richer, while the people who freeze lose everything. And here is the shocking part. The strategy they use is so simple that anyone can do it, but 99% of people ignore it and pay the price. This is the moment where attention becomes your biggest weapon. So listen closely, because if you learn this now, you will protect your future, your family, and your entire financial life, and you will see exactly why the rich are always calm when everyone else is shaking, because they know this one golden rule, and that rule is to position themselves before the fall, not after it. The average person waits until the recession hits, and then they react in panic. They sell their assets, they stop investing, they shrink their life. But millionaires do the opposite. They start preparing months before the storm begins, and the first part of their preparation is understanding that recessions are not disasters for them. They are opportunities, windows of time where prices fall, not to hurt you but to offer you a chance to enter the game, and the person who enters in those moments becomes the person who wins when the economy recovers. And this is why millionaires spend the months before a recession building something extremely powerful called strategic liquidity. And this is not just saving money. This is not hoarding cash. This is disciplined, intentional positioning. They know that when fear rises, prices fall, and when prices fall, wealth transfers from the scared to the prepared, and the ones who prepared are the ones who built liquidity before the recession hits, not during it. Liquidity means having access to capital that you can deploy instantly when the world starts panicking. And this is why millionaires cut wasteful spending before a recession, not after. They start eliminating every unnecessary leak in their financial bucket. And here is where the regular person makes the mistake. They wait until the recession slaps them in the face, then they start to save, but by then the opportunity is gone. Millionaires understand that the goal is not to survive the recession. The goal is to dominate it by having dry powder ready to strike when everyone else is frozen and scared. And in the next part you will see how they protect their money while also multiplying it at the same time, using a psychological advantage that almost no one talks about. Asterisk. Now here is where the strategy becomes even more powerful, because millionaires do something that almost nobody else has the courage or psychology to do. When the world starts shaking, they begin building what I call controlled advantage positioning, which means they slowly shift their focus away from buying what looks comfortable and toward buying what looks undervalued and uncomfortable. And this single mindset switch separates wealth builders from wealth losers, because during calm times everyone thinks they are an investor, but when fear rises, only those with mental discipline keep moving forward. And this is exactly why millionaires prepare their mindset months before any recession begins. They know human psychology becomes the biggest enemy during economic panic, and fear is the strongest force that destroys financial decisions. They train themselves to see fear as a signal, not a threat. They treat it like a secret code, telling them that opportunity is forming behind the chaos. And while the average person listens to the noise, the rich pay attention to the patterns, and the pattern is always the same. Fear rises, prices fall, weak hands sell strong hands. Buy and wealth transfers from one side to the other. And the only reason millionaires can follow this pattern is because they already built liquidity in advance, so they are never forced into desperation. This gives them the most important power in finance, the power of patience, because they are not rushing, they are not chasing, they are not reacting. They are waiting for the moment the market finally hits emotional exhaustion, and that is the point where everything becomes available for a discount. And here is something very few people understand. Millionaires do not try to time the exact bottom. That is a trap that destroys beginners. Instead, they wait for fear signals, and when those signals appear, they enter. Slowly, strategically, and consistently, they build positions in assets that have strong fundamentals, things that will recover and rise once the recession fades away. But the most surprising thing is this: they also use the recession to protect themselves from the biggest danger of all, overexposure, because before the recession hits, they rebalance their entire financial structure. They remove weak assets, they exit overstretched commitments, they reduce high-risk positions, and they strengthen the core of their portfolio, so when the storm arrives, they are not holding anything that can explode on them. Meanwhile, the average person is stuck holding liabilities disguised as assets, and when the crash comes, they get wiped out all because they never prepared in advance. Millionaires think like chess players. They never move without a long-term strategy, and during a recession, their goal is not just survival or defense. Their real goal is acceleration, to come out of the recession with more assets, more cash flow, and more ownership than before. And to achieve this, they apply something extremely powerful called opportunity stacking, which means every time the market shows weakness, they add a small strategic position, and over time, these small controlled moves stack into massive advantage once recovery begins. This is why after every recession, you hear stories of people who multiplied their wealth, and almost always those people were the ones who prepared beforehand, not during. And now in part 3, you will learn the most shocking and least known part of the millionaire strategy, the one move that turns an ordinary recession into a once-in-a-decade wealth transformation moment. And now we reach the most hidden and powerful part of the millionaire strategy, the part almost nobody talks about, because this is the move that decides who becomes rich after a recession and who stays stuck forever. And it all comes down to one thing: expanding ownership while the world contracts their confidence. Because when fear takes over, people stop dreaming, they stop thinking big, they shrink their goals, and they try to survive by doing less. But millionaires flip the script. They use the recession as a launchpad to quietly build ownership in the very places that the average person walks away from. And this is where the true transfer of wealth happens, because when people sell out of panic, millionaires step in with precision and begin acquiring assets that produce long-term value. And here is the shocking part: these assets are almost never shiny or glamorous. They are boring, consistent fundamentals that generate cash flow, stability, and long-term appreciation. Millionaires look for businesses that survive downturns, skills that increase income, real estate that becomes cheaper, digital assets that drop in price, strong companies that get temporarily undervalued, and most importantly, they invest in themselves because they know that the most profitable asset in any recession is skill. The average person waits for the world to become stable before upgrading their skills. But millionaires do it when everything is unstable, because they understand that new skills equal new opportunities, and new opportunities equal new income streams, and those income streams become the engines that power their financial rise once the economy recovers. And this is why you always see the rich coming out of recessions stronger, because they were not trying to escape the storm, they were using the storm to build a bigger ship. And the reason this strategy works so consistently is because millionaires do not focus on predicting the recession, they focus on preparing their position. They build liquidity, they strengthen their mindset, they protect their core assets, they stack opportunities, and they expand ownership when everyone else contracts. And if you apply even a small piece of this in your own life, your entire financial future will change, because recessions are not meant to destroy you, they are meant to test your preparation and reward your discipline. And now you know the exact strategy millionaires use right before a recession, and the only question left is very simple: will you react like the world, or will you prepare like the wealthy? Because the difference between those two choices can decide your next 10 years, and your journey begins the moment you take your first step right now.